Apologies for that, guys. I've had to start a whole new live stream here. So, namaste. We are live from probably the most dangerous place in all of India, Ghaziabad, UP 14. And the purpose of the stream, it's called Behind the Scams. I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes of work that people like me do. What do you call us? Scam busters, scam baiters. Let's just see if people can see us now before we go any further, okay? Can you guys see me? 1 second, guys. Is it working? Are we live? Okay, guys, looks like we're all good. Great to see. Perfect, we're on. Let's keep going, guys. So, yeah, like I said, the purpose of this is to take you guys behind the scenes of the work that we do. And today, I'm going to have Jim Browning here with me. He is a scam baiter and a call center terminator, a call center hacker. He gets right in there and gathers all the intel and shuts down these call centers. And so how I met him, he actually, we connected over the email and we connected through you guys. You guys actually sent me the links to his videos and I watched them and I'm like, oh my God, this guy is doing something right. I love what he is doing because it reminded me of all the scam calls we used to get in New Zealand when I lived in New Zealand. My parents still get those scam calls once a week. And I just thought maybe I can help them, maybe we can try and do what we can to stop this together, right? So I just sent him an email. I just said to him, like, can I help you? I love what you're doing. Can I help you? Can I get you like some drone footage or some 4K video footage of outside the scam call center and just help you with your videos? And he replied saying, yeah, sure. So we worked on this video in Gurugram, Haryana. It hasn't been released yet. I went out, I got him the drone footage, I got him the footage outside, and you know, it took a lot of trust for him to trust me because with this kind of intelligence, I could have actually taken it to these scam call centers and sold it to them for $10,000 or $20,000 American. That's what it's worth, right? Because then they can like move offices or, you know, they often offer people like, I think I saw a video from Neep. They offered him like 10,000 American dollars to not put his video online. So yeah, Jim had to really trust me with all that intel. But it worked out really fine. And so then we started on this next video. This was in Rohini Sector 3, Renewed Technology Limited. And we actually got to shut these guys down. And yeah, so I'll give you some updates about what happened after we released this video. And then let's call Jim and let's talk to Jim about how he works, why he does what he does, how he does what he does, and what's his opinions on India. Considering he's on the phone to India like probably half of the day. And we will take your super chats at the end, okay? Chalo. So, 6 hours after I finished filming this very video, this call center in Rohini Sector 3 was shutting down. They were wiping their computers. They were dismantling their computers and they were getting the hell out of there. That call center was gone. It's gone now. But you know what the problem is? These guys will just open up around the corner, nah? That's the problem. We need the police's help to actually keep this call center closed. And that's me and Jim's goal actually. Our goal is to be working with the police and having them permanently shut down these call centers who are targeting foreigners and destroying India's reputation around the world. So that was our first step in doing that. I need to get some more credibility and then we can go to the police and start working with them, all right? And so yeah, that's how we met, that's how we worked together. And so 6 hours after we released that video, 6 hours after, the police tweeted this photo. They had raided a call center in Kirti Nagar in Delhi. And now this was totally unrelated to our video, all right, and completely unrelated. This photo they posted, this was a scam call center which was targeting Canadians through an IRS scam. And the Indian police just love to post these trophy photos on their Twitter. I love following the Indian police. So yeah, they shut down this call center the exact same day that me and Jim both released our videos here. That was pure luck. Nothing to do with us, okay? Absolutely nothing to do with us. Great timing for them because I just blasted them and asked them what are they doing. But this was a one-off event, all right? I know they're busting a lot of call centers which are targeting Indians. It's a huge problem here now. It's only been recently they started targeting Indians. Before that, they were just targeting foreigners, and it's actually an epidemic how they're targeting foreigners and Indians now, because not much is being done. But I was happy to see this, even though it's just a one-off incident. We are going to get the police doing more of this work, all right? That's me and Jim's goal. Then something else amazing happened this week. An MP in the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Indian Parliament, his name was Surendra Singh Nagar. He actually mentioned scam call centers in Parliament. India has two parliaments, so there's the Rajya Sabha, which is the upper house, which represents the states. Then there's the Lok Sabha, which represents the people. This is in the upper house of Parliament. Have a listen to what Surendra Singh Nagar says. I've translated it into English for you, so there are subtitles. Check this out, all right?
आपके माध्यम से मैं सरकार का ध्यान दिल्ली एनसीआर तो देश के बड़े महानगरों में फर्जी कॉल सेंटर्स के माध्यम से ऑनलाइन ठगी के जो की जा रही है उसके ध्यान आकर्षण करना चाहता हूं। अभी एनसीआर के नोएडा में एक फर्जी कॉल सेंटर पकड़ा गया और उसमें जो जानकारी मिली जो ऑनलाइन साइट्स हैं फ्लिपकार्ट, मंत्रा और जो बीमा कंपनी है उनसे ये फर्जी कॉल सेंटर स्थापित कर और वहाँ से डेटा उनका ये लेते थे, चुराते थे। ग्राहकों को ये फ़ोन कर उनको नई नई स्कीम्स, भारी डिस्काउंट का लालच देकर उनसे ठगी करते थे। जब ये गिरफ्तार हुए तो उसके बाद सबसे बड़ी परेशानी जो इसमें आई है वो आई है कि जो ऐसी कंपनियां हैं फ्लिपकार्ट, मंत्रा और बीमा कंपनी जहाँ से डाटा लीक होता है उनके खिलाफ कोई ऐसा कानून नहीं है कि जिनके खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई पुलिस कर सके।
Now, what you notice about what he said in Parliament was he was just talking about Indians who were being scammed, and he was asking for better data protection laws so companies like online shopping portals, they can be held more accountable for when our data gets stolen, right? They should be held accountable as well. So not really talking about busting international call centers, but it was incredible to see them talking about scam call centers in Parliament. Awareness is being raised, okay, that is the good thing. And then one more piece of news before we give Jim Browning a call. This came from the Department of Justice, this update. They have raided and stopped 600 money mules spanning over 85 states. And these money mules were carrying money and sending it back to India for things like tech support scams, redirection scams, sweepstakes scams, IRS scams. So these call centers, if they're taking money from MasterCard or Visa or in American dollars, they have a money mule in the US who will take that money and then pass it on to the scam call centers. This guy's basically laundering money for them. He's accepting the money from the person they've scammed and then passing it on to the scam call center. He's like a middleman. And that last place that we busted, what was it, Rohini Sector 3 Renewed Technology, they had a money mule operating in the US. So it's good to see the Americans doing something, right? Like they're taking it really seriously, and so they should. So many hundreds of millions of dollars are being scammed out of innocent people overseas and being sent here to India. Now, I want to show you 1 minute of a Jim Browning video so you can get an idea of what he does, how he hacks into these call centers, and how he just gets right in there. This is called Inside a Scam Call Center. Jim is going to take you right inside there, all right, and just check this out. It's hilarious.
A lot of these scammers smoke, so you can imagine the smell in this place. But this particular PC is a laptop, so it can be carried around the office. So courtesy of this particular scammer, we're going to get a little tour of exactly what the office looks like.
Alright sir, because see I can't see the screen.
And after click on it, ma'am, have a look. Right inside on the very top of your computer screen, beside the address bar, there is any blue color or black color down arrow. You see that? Click on that arrow.
भाई स्काइप से कर लो स्काइप से मेरा फोन से भी आ रहा है इसका रिमोट पीछे होगा अभी इसका है आपका रिमोट पीछे है ना
That's it, okay?
So as you can see, they're quite small offices, one of the smallest groups of scammers I've encountered. But equally, you can also appreciate that this laptop is on a wireless network, and it's that wireless network that gives me a good clue as to exactly where these offices are located.
So that was a scam call center in Kolkata, and during that video you could actually hear them scamming people, right? It's terrible. So that's the kind of access that Jim Browning gets, and we are going to call him in 1 second. All right, let's get him on the line. And actually I can see a few other guys here. I can see you guys here. What's up, Neep? Good to have you here, Neep. Neep is another one of my favorite YouTubers who scam baits people. He actually flies to India and goes into these call centers. He's a crazy German. All right, Jim, I'm going to give you a call now, mate. Let's get Jim on the line. All right. Hello, Jim, are you there, mate?
Hello, I am here. Hello, Carl. Nice to speak to you. And good evening, good afternoon. Hi to everyone.
Do you know any Hindi, Jim? Do you know Namaste?
I do know Namaste, and I've got to say my Hindi amounts to Namaste and a lot of curse words, and unfortunately I've had to learn that from the little cottage industry that I happen to find myself in. So yes, Namaste to everyone.
Thank you, Jim. Namaste. And Jim, so can you tell us where you're from and just anything about you as a person? I know you keep a lot of it private, so whatever you can tell us.
Yeah, so, okay, Jim Browning isn't my real name. I want to keep all my personal details private, or as private as I can. And the reason for that is, obviously, when you disrupt scam call centers, which literally make millions of dollars or can make millions of dollars a year, then it's very, very, it's a little bit risky. So I try to keep personal details to myself. I do work in the IT industry, and the scam baiting and the YouTube stuff is very much a kind of a part-time thing. I do it in my spare time. A lot of people ask me to put more videos onto YouTube, and it's actually quite difficult to do that because I do have a kind of a normal job. But yes, that's as much personal detail. I'm from the UK, from Ireland actually, but yeah, so that's awesome. Me. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. I had a feeling you worked in IT just because you know your way around these things. And actually, one of the first things I thought about you when I heard your voice, your island accent, it was so soothing. And I can tell you're a little bit older than me because you speak so calmly and so, yeah, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I guess I've had a lot of experience in the IT industry. And again, I'm not kind of going to age. I think I am older than you. I'm pretty sure I am, Carl. But yeah, I've had a lot of experience. And actually, when you speak to these scammers, you tend to find they actually run the same scripts every time. So I tend not to get too excited by it. And actually, a lot of the time, I find what they go through pretty boring, you know, and you have to sit with and listen to their scams, and then eventually they work out, and you can be doing stuff in the background as they're trying to do that, of course.
I found this out when I made my first video with you, the Rohini Sector 3 video. Oh my God, it's painful editing that down to 15 minutes because it's like a 1 hour call you're listening to this guy. But anyway, Jim, why did you start doing this? How did you get into scam baiting?
Well, I think like everybody else, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's on this live stream has had some sort of scam call at some point or other. And I get those scams as well. And I just find myself with a bit of IT knowledge, a bit of expertise. I use virtual machines all the time with my normal IT job. And I thought, hang on, maybe there's something I can do here rather than just accept the old thing which says, yeah, you can't do anything about these scams. You know, they're going to use fake numbers. There's nothing you can do. I as an engineer, hate to hear that. And I thought, well, maybe I can do something. So that's kind of what started me off.
So nobody in your family got scammed or anything like that?
I have had, for example, my brother-in-law, he fairly recently has had the scam call. There's a friend of mine as well who was scammed over it was like a Facebook Messenger scam. Yeah. But actually, as far as the tech support scam, I'm not aware of any relatives who have fallen for this, or at least haven't told me anyway. But a lot of people get the calls.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of people misunderstand what I do on YouTube because I cover scams here on ground rather than the scam baiting call so much. I actually go on the streets and show the scams, and I show the negative side, but I also show the positive side of India. And so, yeah, a lot of people misunderstand that because they're only watching my negative videos. And I'm sure a lot of people misunderstand your intentions as well. So what's your goal when it comes to what you do?
Well, actually, that's part of the reason why I enjoyed linking up with you, because I'm aware and I don't want my videos to be something which seems to target only India. Well, I've got to say, it so happens that a lot of the scams that I target, like tech support scams and search engine optimization scams, unfortunately, the vast majority of the access that I get, I can tell that the IP addresses are mainly in India, but I don't want the channel to appear like I'm kind of bashing India or Indian people. I think the exact opposite, and that's why I'm very keen to kind of team up with you, because the true face of India is not these scams at all.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
know that the people who are involved in this, the people who write to my channel from India are the real representatives of the Indian people, and they hate these scams just as much as everybody else watching. And the really sad thing is I get a lot of comments which are kind of bashing India as a nation, and I can't stand that. And this is why I'm keen to link to your channel to kind of get a fairer picture of this. I kind of specialize in tech support scams, and I really don't want it to reflect on India. So yeah, I'm keen to join up with you and get a fairer picture of India, I hope.
Awesome, thank you. And what I noticed was a lot of your subscribers came over after we did that video together, and they enjoyed seeing a different side of India because, I show the good and the bad of India, right? So it was amazing to see them commenting. I was really, really happy to have them there.
Yeah, and vice versa. Yeah, vice versa as well. So I pointed people to your channel as well, and I get a lot of equal comments to say, like, there's a lot of parts of India that I never knew about, and I've learned a lot from it as well. So yeah, it's good to link and get a better, fairer, more rounded picture of India.
Good. And so, where are most of these scam call centers based in? Where are the hubs in India for this?
Oh well, I plotted these out on a map because whenever you get an IP address, you can usually pretty closely tell certainly which city that the IP address is from.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to put a video out before too long, which has plotted these scam call centers over the last 2 years. Okay. And the majority are centered in around either Delhi or Kolkata are the main hubs. But of course, there's always the outliers. I've seen Dehradun, there's Jaipur, there's Mumbai. There's basically any large city. Hyderabad is another one. But the majority are in around Delhi and Kolkata.
Yeah, what I've noticed is Delhi, Gurugram, and Kolkata. These are the three kind of hubs. Yeah. Exactly right, Jim. And so, why do you think most of these scam call centers are based in India now? Because it's actually an epidemic here. You are mainly only getting scammed by Indians. The calls that I'm getting, the calls that you're getting. Why are they all based in India? That's what I want to know.
So yeah, I mean, it's a question I'm asked quite a lot, and I've asked scammers, at least the ones who are actually open with me, what is their reason for doing the scamming? And there's very few who are really honest enough. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it's all about money. But I think the reason why many of them are centered there is for a few reasons. I think the top one has to be infrastructure and expertise. It's not that easy to set up a robo-dialing software. If you have someone who has expertise in that and is used to maybe setting up maybe something similar for legitimate businesses, I can see them using that expertise quite a lot. So expertise in infrastructure is definitely part of it. But I think equally when I hear scammers talk to me, there's a lot of unemployment, and a lot of people are very technical and do have, I guess, good English, certainly enough to be able to speak to people in the USA, UK, or other countries. And I guess low wages, and you can make a lot more money in an illegitimate call center than you can in a legitimate one. So I've no doubt at all that money, incentives, it plays a huge role in this.
Yeah. I had a theory, and that was a lot of the call center work has gone from India to the Philippines these days. And so there's a lot of empty call centers around the place here in India, to be honest. And so they're going for really cheap rates, you know, and then there's a lot of people out of work, like you said as well. So this is just a recipe for scam call centers and people who are desperate to make money.
Oh, definitely. And I can see that as well. There's definitely a lot of connections as well between scam call centers in India and actually other call centers elsewhere. And I find that, for example, sometimes whenever money is transferred between bank accounts, you will find that the bank account is in the Philippines or sometimes even in China. So there's link-ups, I think, between these call centers in different countries.
Wow. And you talked about how much these scam call centers are making. What would a small and what would a large scam call center make in 1 year, for example?
Yeah, so the small ones typically, certainly tens of thousands of dollars. I've seen the accounts, I've literally lifted some of the accounts information from some of their PCs. I've been able to have a look at some of the legitimate payment gateways that they use to process those payments. And even with 5 or 6 people, you could probably make between $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. And the larger call centers, there was one that I managed to get access to at the very start of the year called EchoSoft LLC, and they've got fake software called Reimage, and they do supposed support for it. And they employ maybe 300 call center workers. They will work 24/7. They will have shifts targeting European countries, Australia and the USA. And their target was $1.8 million per month. So well over $10 million a year.
No way.
And that was purely scams. There was no legitimate side work here. This was pure scam material. So $1.8 million a month if you've got a large call center.
Yeah, I've seen some figures like that, like $500,000 a month. This was one in, I think, Punjab. And I talked to an employee recently from one of these scam call centers, and he told me he was earning 35,000 rupees a month, which is about 500 American dollars a month plus incentives. So they earn commission on every person they scam. Does that sound about right to you?
Oh, that's definitely right. The model is definitely that. I've seen what the incentives look like. You will have a basic salary as a call center employee, and if you can, they usually have incentivized targets depending on the exact amount they can get. So that's why you'll always find whenever you get one of these call center workers, they will always try to upsell no matter what. So if they say, we've got a package for a year and it'll be $200. If we've got a package for 5 years, $500 lifetime, and that's the reason why they do that. And they will always force you or try to force you onto the higher value one just so that they can up their own incentive, their own bonus payment.
Wow, yeah. And let's get into how you do what you do then. So how do you find your targets?
Yeah, okay. So there's 3 main types of scam. The first one is the cold call. So they find me, I don't find them. They
literally call your house.
Oh yeah, they call my house, and I've kind of got a number of phone numbers now. I use VoIP just like the scammers do, and I use text now and so on. And I actually find that I get a load of scam calls on those numbers. They're kind of disposable numbers. So anybody who phones me gets that little special attention, because they've kind of inadvertentently picked me out. But that's one type. The other one is obviously the pop-up scams, and there's websites like bobrtc.live and scammer.info, which has a lot of those pop-up type scams and all other scams, and that's really to encourage people to phone scammers. And I always encourage people to do that. Scammer.info, bobrtc.live are really brilliant resources if you want to waste scammers' time. And then the third one is literally you will type something into a search engine, and the scammers have set things up in a way that their phone number will appear high up that list, even though it's not legitimate. So you might have, say, a computer or a printer problem, and if you search for Freephone UK printer, whatever it is, up will pop their number, and that number is there purely to run another type of tech support scam. So those three together, I think, are the way that I find out these scammer phone numbers, at least. And of course, I then let them phone me, or I call them.
Awesome. And you get right into their computers, actually. You can see kind of everything, and I've seen it all in your videos. How do you do that? How do you hack them? I know a lot of people want to know this. That was the number one question I got from people.
It is, yeah. And it's my most frequently asked question. And unfortunately, the one that I never delve into in too much detail, purely because if I did so and I give the little formula that I use exactly, then the people who are the scammers would recognize what I'm doing, and therefore that would be closed off to me. So unfortunately, although I could do a whole video on this, just exactly how this is done, it's probably something I will never do. And unfortunately, a lot of people have even said, look, well, it must be, if you can't reveal that, then the whole thing must be faked or something.
Oh,
I can assure you it's not. It's definitely not. And there's ways that it can be cross-checked. So yeah, it's the one thing the one thing I will say is I cannot get access to scammers' PCs unless they try to scam me first. And it's through the way that they connect to my PC that I'm able to get back to them. That's all I'll say on it, though.
Cool, thank you for that. And have they ever tried to hack you, like reverse hack you, attack your YouTube page, attack your website, whatever?
I mean, a few of them have tried to call flood me after the event. So that's one thing that I gotta say, if you're a scam baiter, that you cannot ever or should not ever do is use your real phone number. I always use VoIP services just in case they do that. So yes, call flooding is one way. Occasionally the odd scammer will run kind of like Google Maps or something on your PC and try to find out roughly where you're located. But again, I always use a VPN. So even if they did that, they would see some other country or something. Other than that, not really. No, I haven't had that much trouble from them.
And I know that you've been sending information to the Indian police. Yeah. What has been their response? Have they ever done anything?
Not to my knowledge. I've got to say, I've been running this for 2+ years. I've sent a lot of information to, in fact, I can pinpoint the actual local police a lot of the time. So I send it to the right people, I think. And unfortunately, I've never, other than one email to say I'm passing this to somebody else, I have never had anyone from any Indian police authority ever come back and say, we're going to do something about this. Now, maybe they are, maybe they just don't tell me, but somehow I don't think that's correct. I think they would be wanting to at least respond back if they actually did something. So no, I don't really think anything's ever happened.
That's where I want us to make a difference, right? Because I'm here on ground in India, and this is where I think we can go beyond just making videos and get the police involved, because it's great for us to make videos, but we have to have some real world consequences. We have to affect some kind of change. So that's what I'm really hoping that you and I can do together.
Yeah, I hope so. That would be a real result if someone in the police could actually do something. I mean, even that most recent one that we attempted to shut or have shut down, I believe. Yeah. As you say, there's nothing to stop them from starting up again tomorrow in some other place in India. You know, it has to have some action from the real police. Otherwise, this will just continue.
Definitely. We're going to do the best on that. And I'm confident, I'm hopeful we can make a change there. And now, do you have any plans to come to India? Can you even say that? Maybe not. I don't know. There'll be these guys will be waiting for you at the airport with their guns out.
I would say so. Honestly. If they knew what I looked like, maybe I would try and keep that to myself. But I think you're the one who's doing the kind of braver thing here, because people will recognize you. You don't look Indian yourself. You can stand out. So.
I stick out like a sore thumb here, and we have received a threat from one of these guys already. I can't talk any more about it, but it's. But I feel like someone has to put their face and someone has to put their name to it for people to take us seriously. And if I don't do it, then who's gonna do it? You know. So,
Well, I don't know. It is brave of you, I must say, doing this, and I'm not surprised. There's a threat there. There's a huge amount of money behind this, and I can understand that people will be very keen to keep their little revenue stream going. And yeah, it's definitely a risk. And I've got to say, I think you're very brave actually doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Now, how can people help us, Jim? What websites can they go to waste people's time, or what do you suggest people do to help stop this?
Oh yeah, well, I've mentioned some of the main ones already. One of the best resources is that one, bobrtc.live. And if you want to call scammers for free, just go to bobrtc.live. You will see all sorts of scams sitting there. And all you need to do is click a button, enable your microphone, and you're talking to scam call centers. And for absolutely no cost to yourself, that is the easiest way that you can waste scammers' time. And you don't have to, I mean, obviously for a website you need a computer, but even if you just get a cold call, I keep saying this, you don't need to be technical at all. If you can keep the scammer on the phone for as long as humanly possible, wind them up, slow them down, ask them to repeat them, you know, as long as you're doing that, they're not scamming someone who's your parents or grandparents, and it's always a good thing to do. So whether you want to go to the full extent of trying to hack into these scammers' computers, that's one extreme. Keep them on the phone. That's just as easy.
Perfect. So you guys can go to bobrtc.live. And I got to say, this is only for people outside of India. Indians can't go to this website because they've blocked it off from Indians to stop the scammers getting in there and working out that their numbers have been identified, okay? If you're in India and you want to help, you need to go to a website like TextNow or Talkatone. There you can make calls to these scam numbers and waste these guys' time if you're in India. And what was the website where they can find these scammers' phone numbers, Jim, besides bobrtc?
Yes, scammer.info, and it's a very good resource, and it covers not just the tech scams, it covers the 419 scams, romance scams, you name it, it's there. And if you fancy having a go at maybe keeping one of those other sort of scammers occupied, it's a very good place to go to as well.
And last question, were you surprised to find out that these scam call centers are now aggressively scamming Indians here in India? It is a huge problem, and that's why I ended up in Parliament in that video I showed you.
I guess a little bit. I mean, I benefit a little bit from a lot of the comments that I get in my YouTube chat, and I get a lot of comments from Indian people saying, look, do you realize that these scams happen here as well? And in fact, I got an awful lot of emails saying, can you help with such and such a scam? And a lot of them are from Indian people, but I'm probably aware. I don't know if others are aware, but it's good that it's been brought up in Parliament. I just would love to see them saying that it's not, you know, the problem is wider than just India, though it's a true international crime.
Yeah, it definitely is. And yeah, we will get them to take the international side of it more seriously for sure. Okay, let's go to the super chats now. Hang around with me, Jim.
Sure.
We've got a super chat from Kenzo, and Kenzo is the developer of bobrtc.live. Thank you so much.
He's a hero. Yeah.
He's actually putting together all the resources so you guys can call these scammers and waste their time. And Naveen Chandra, thank you for the chai, bro. Really appreciate that. Now let's jump to some questions. If you've got some questions, I'm going to attempt to find some in this. And they can be for me or they can be for Jim. Does not matter. All right, I'm going to have to wait for a second until it catches up.
Yeah, I've got to say thanks to Ken's over there. I see that. I see Faheen has asked in the chat, do I support PewDiePie or T-Series? I mean, apart from all these comments about you looking like PewDiePie, I don't really like their channel. I'm kind of not into games that much, and yeah, T-Series I've seen the odd video from, but I'm not a subscriber to either channel, put it that way.
Yeah, I support T-Series just because I'm in India. I like PewDiePie though. He's fun, and The whole thing got a bit out of hand, though, to be honest. It just got a bit out of hand. I'm glad it's over. Carl Rock, how is life? Life is always good for me, man. Nothing ever goes wrong in my life, it seems.
Yeah,
Carl,
shout out to Mixter there as well. Mixter is asking, how are you? Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks very much. I said I would give you a little shout out. How you doing?
And now, what was this? Why do people scam, Carl? Well, yeah, it's the age-old question. I guess the job situation isn't so good here right now. Unemployment is high, and like I said, there's a lot of empty call centers here which you can start up and just make money from. Some of it's desperation, but then some of these people are just criminals as well. The guys running these call centers are definitely just criminals. The people working in them, that's where the desperation comes in. Because these are just kids who don't have a job and may have been tricked into coming into these call centers as well. So yeah, that's my take on it. You, Jim?
Yeah, I think so. I've had the odd comment saying, well, this is justification for what the British did to India, all the rest of it.
Oh my
God.
No,
I've seen that comment a number of times. And it is just, when you look at the people who actually run the scams, there's nothing about that at all. They will be looking and browsing for the latest iPhone cover. It has nothing whatsoever to do with that. And it is just greed, pure and simple. And anytime I get a comment like that, where their grandparents can't even remember whenever there was like kind of British in India, I know it's just an excuse. They're trying to excuse their greed, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. A few more questions I've just written down. Am I in India? Yep, I'm here in India. I never leave India. I'm always in India, okay? Next question. What course of action do you believe the local police should take when receiving a tip? Well, they should, of course, investigate it and just go and, even if they're not going to prosecute and take it to court, just go shut the guy down and put the fear of God in him, you know?
Absolutely. And the key thing is, I have noticed that whenever any of these call centers actually get raided, the amount of cold calls drops. There is genuine fear among other scam call centers that they'll be next. And so even if there were regular raids on these, I think it would make a huge difference.
Definitely. Next question. Why is the word Salah offensive? Salah, said like that, it becomes offensive. If you just say Salah, it just means brother-in-law, right? I can't explain why it's offensive. It's a bit... How do I explain why it's offensive? Because it's your brother-in-law and what he's doing to your sister. So yeah, let's not go there. You get it. Now, what's the cultural impact of, you know, if we expose one of these guys and their family finds out? Well, their family ain't going to be too happy. In India, family is the most important thing. And if your parents find out that you're working in a scam call center, yeah, it ain't going to go down too well at home. You are destroying your family's reputation. And in India, that is a very, very, very important thing. So yeah, you should be worried if you're working in a scam call center. You should be thinking about your family as well. Imagine what it would do to your parents when you get exposed.
Yeah. I mean, I can't often put scammer faces in my YouTube channel, primarily because YouTube hold privacy, even for scammers, very, very high up there. So I can't, unfortunately, risk my channel. In fact, I do get alternatives to YouTube where I've uploaded the odd video so that if people really wonder what these guys look like, there's alternatives there.
Excellent. Thank you, Surya, for the 40 rupees. It does look like PewDiePie is catching scammers. A lot of people, they click on that thumbnail because they think I'm PewDiePie. They get confused. That's probably the only reason my channel is doing well, because I'm getting confused by PewDiePie and as people are coming across. Is Jim Browning in India?
Good content helps as well. Let's face it.
That's a joke, Jim. Jim, somebody wants to know, are you in India?
Am I in India? I'm virtually in India. At times whenever I get access to some scammers' PCs, I'm almost peering over the shoulder, but no, I'm not in India. No.
You spend enough time talking to Indians on the phone, you might as well shift here to be cheaper for you.
True.
Just get a local line or something.
I am learning the difference between various dialects in India as well. Like I'm starting to begin to tell the difference between somebody who's got a bit of Bengali and somebody who's definitely in Delhi.
Yeah, you will start to tell the accents from Bengalis, from Delhiites, from people in the south. Yeah, you'll learn that. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. If you want to help support mine or you want to help support Jim Browning's channel, become a channel member. That's the best way to support us on a monthly basis so we can keep dedicating our lives to doing what we do. And our goals, it's simply to stop scammers, to stop these scam call centers, and to protect India's reputation as well. I don't think Jim realizes that, but with the work he's doing, he is protecting India's reputation by shutting down these scam call centers and these callers who are completely destroying India's reputation overseas. Every single time my parents get a call from India, they're like, oh my God, a scam call from India again. This is what so many foreigners are thinking, and I don't think people in India can understand the harm it's doing to India. All right, Jai Hind, thank you so much for joining me, Jim. It's been a pleasure.
Jai Hind, thanks, Carl.
Awesome. I love how Jim said Jai Hind. Good night, guys.